Hello everyone, welcome to my video. In this video, I am going to talk about the Robert Frost poem, The Road Not Taken. This video is prepared as a participation in Virtual Teachers Day 2022 celebrated by Department of English MKBU. Let us begin our discussion about the poem with a brief introduction of the poet, Robert Lee Frost. Robert Lee Frost was an American poet. His work was initially published in England before it was published in United States. He is known for the realistic depictions of the rural life and his command of American informal speech. In today's video, we will talk about one of his world's known poem which was written in 1915 and is published in 1916. The Road Not Taken. Let us recite the poem. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveller long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though, as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that was all made the difference. In this poem, as we read, we see that the poet is telling that once in a life he came across the two diverged roads in the forest. And he stood on the beginning of the path and looked through both the path till he could. Till the path had a bend. And then thinking, he thought that the first path is used more because it is trodden and wear in comparison to the another path. And so decided to go for the second one and leaving the first path. Moving forward, he himself made a contradiction to the sentence and said that he realized that both the paths are equal. None of them is that trodden what the poet thought about. He regrets that he has to choose the another path and could not go for the first path. Then he thinks that he has not chosen the second path but left the first path for another time. And then he himself thinks that will he get another chance to come again here and go for the first path? And then he imagines himself in the future and thinks that he will think that what the differences are there in his or her life is only cause of the path he chooses. Here we see that the poem ultimately remains ambiguous about whether choosing the road less traveled necessarily leads to better or more things interesting in their life. The poem can have a multiple different meanings. Here, firstly we will see that it is unclear whether the speaker's judgment should be taken at a face value or whether the poem is about the speaker making a simple but impactful choice, or about how the speaker interprets a choice whose impact is unclear. In the poem, we see regression of the poet, contradictions of him or her with himself or herself, and also his imagination to the future. The main theme in the poem can be considered is life is full of choices which will define our destinies. And the rhyme which is used in this poem is A-B, A-A-B. Now let's talk about the themes in this poem. The themes are choices and uncertainty of the choices, individuality and non-conformity. Here the two paths in the poem can be considered as an extended metaphor of the choices one has to make in his or her life. The choices between conventional versus the non-conventional path we get in our life. The poem makes clear that every choice involves the loss of opportunity, like choices and uncertainty. We make one choice, but we are not that confident or like certain that yes, this is the perfect choice. When we go for one choice, we are leaving behind so many choices, and leaving behind choices is painful because we are making a choice made with choice which is the result of incomplete information, and we are losing an opportunity to learn so many things and go towards only one path with the hope and uncertainty that it will bring new things in our life and will bring positivity and right decision. It might be a right decision. The final line is subtle reminder that the only thing one can know about the choice one makes in his life is that they made all the differences. The one reminder we should keep that in the future what we will be, whatever positive or negative will happen in our life is only because of our choice made in our own life. But how? Or from what? Neither the poem nor life will provide any answer. If we talk about individualism and over conformity, if we go for the conventional path, we see the ideals we want, like moving over this path, like for example, for being in an education stream, we are always told to be an engineer or to be a doctor. We know that going on that path, we will have many people who have completed their whole way of life on that path, and where they are, it is confirmed. They gave us a sense of conformity. But if we go for something unconventional, which is not done by anyone else, and go for a new path, then we are not confirmed. We have uncertainty in our life that will this bring us a success or not. We have to leave that path in between. The speaker presents non-conformity as a positive trait and even implies that popularity can make things less appealing. The first road, because of its popularity, lacks the grass that makes the second path more attractive and antique. Many readers interpret that the final line is being an affirmation by the poet. It is a decision that as he chose the second path, all the differences are there. He resulted in all differences. But he or she has not clarified the differences are positive or negative, and we cannot even decide that the differences are necessarily positive. Further, because the poem has raised a possibility that the path the speaker took was not in fact less traveled, it also raises a possibility that the speaker is wrong, and taking that particular path can't be said to be made any specific difference at all. There is also a third option offered by the poem, which is that the speaker is correct, that choosing the road made all the difference. Here, choosing a path of life is what will bring the differences in our life. We might regret choosing that path and leaving other opportunities. We might also contradict to our own decisions, to our own statements. But what we need to do is we have to accept what the differences our chosen path has made in our life. The poem implies that the speaker in the future may look back and construct a narrative of his or her life that is simpler and cleaner, and which gives this choice more meaning than the truth would support. The poem is making a narrative that what will be the future. It can be positive, negative, it might be successful or unsuccessful. In this third interpretation, the poem implies that it's less important whether the speaker's choice actually made all the differences than it is that he or she believes that it did. In this reading, the poem recognizes that the speaker and all people fictionalize their life by creating meaning where there may not be any, but portrays such meaning making not as fraudulent or but rather as a part of human being. For an example, we will take a female writer, Virginia Woolf. We see that she has not followed the conventional traditional path which was made by the society for the women, but she contradicted, went for writing, working, painting, publishing her books. And today we remember her in a way having a most artistic suicide in the literature, in among the writers. The suicide was because of the societal pressure. This can also be the result. This can also be the result of choosing an unconventional path, moving against the traditional life. The poem does not suggest a solution to the question of the meaning of the life or choosing a path. It is not giving any solution or any guidance. But it is like having a moral that whatever we are doing in our life is our choice, and whatever will be the result of our choice is to be accepted in the life. I hope this video is helpful to you. In the description of this video, you will find a link of the quiz. You can apply, attempt in this quiz, and you will get an e-certificate auto-generated in your email. I request you all to attempt the quiz. Thank you for watching my video.